What's going on, everybody? This is Jordan from Alante's Diverse IT, and today I wanted to simplify another solution for you. So today what I wanted to do is just a brief introduction to the Google Suite. If you have an Android phone or Google email, you may be kind of semi-familiar with this, but if you're brand new to this, we're also going to show what it looks like from starting an email address and then diving into these products. So I want you to be comfortable and anxious to use these. So let's go ahead and start to take a look. All right. So introduction to the Google Suite. After this class, what I'm hoping you'll know is what the G Suite is and how exactly do you use it. The products and services available in the G Suite, these are all available through Google, and be able to start using the G Suite products as soon as today. So what does the modern G Suite look like? The primary G Suite tools include Gmail, Drive, Docs, Sheets, Slides, Forms, Calendars, Meet, and Maps, to name a few. This list is constantly growing and evolving, and I'm going to kind of give you a more in-depth explanation with several of these here. So how do we first access the G Suite? Well, first need to go ahead and go to google.com. You'll see that kind of in the address bar there if you are following along or looking at the screen here. But when you get to google.com, you'll see a big blue box in the right corner of the screen labeled Sign In. You have to go ahead and click the Sign In button. This will allow you to take one of two actions. You can either sign into your account, or if you don't have an account, you'll notice on the right side of the screen where it says click here to create an account. Again, if you have an Android phone or a Google email account, you're going to follow the steps on the left of signing in with that email address or the phone number if it's for your Android, and then whatever password you have associated with that. But again, let's continue for those who don't have a Google account yet. The next step it's going to ask you, is this for yourself or to manage a business? In this tutorial, we're just going to talk about a personal Google account. We may explore a little more in another video on how to set one up for your business. As you go next, it's kind of like setting up an account. If you've ever set up an account anywhere online recently, they're going to ask for some required information. In this example, your first and last name, and then you're going to want to have to create what is going to be your username. Your username is going to be that email address that you're creating. So it might be johnadams124@gmail. Lastly, there's going to be a password field. Underneath the password field, you may notice it says 8 or more characters with a mix of letters, numbers, and symbols. When you're creating that password field, you can click the Show Password box, and in that Show Password box, it will reveal the password as you're creating it, so you can make sure you can create the password and confirm it without having to guess. But ultimately, next, we're going to go ahead and hit Next, which is going to be that blue box in the bottom right corner. From there, they're going to ask a little bit more information. So in our example, I created one called informationdiversity@gmail.org. From there, it's going to ask you for your phone number. This is going to be a recovery email address, your month, day, and year of birth, and then your gender. Some of this is just to make sure this is for a parental advisory account. If it's for a minor, things to that effect. So other parts are so you can recover it if you need to get locked out of your account. Some of the information is optional. It'll normally be marked by a red asterisk if it is required. Let's go ahead and continue here briefly. Lastly, you're going to have to agree to the terms and services. What are the terms and services? These are what you are agreeing to by using their services and what information you're giving to them by you going ahead and using whatever products that you are engaging with. Feel free to go and review the privacy and terms prior to hitting the I agree button in the bottom right corner. It is kind of a long document, so take your time if you're in for kind of a strange read there. But let's go ahead and continue. So once you are signed into your Google account, it should look a little something like this. This is going to be the Google homepage, and it's an indication that you successfully signed in. So first, you should see a purple or some colored circle there. This is a visual indication that you are actually signed in. And the reason why I have an I there is because that's the first letter of the email address that I created. So information and diverse IT, this is I. showing it. If your name was John Adams, then it would be a J there. If it was Mary Sanchez, it would be an M there, etc. To the left of that is something called a grid, which has a technical name of the waffle. Where this is part of the portal for the G Suite, which we're going to explore more in a second. And then third, you'll see just to the left of the word images is Gmail. That's how you access your email. Images would be if you had a photo collection or if you had an Android phone and it's constantly uploading to that location. Let's continue. So the waffle, or that grid that we were talking about, are 9 dots to the left of the signed in icon. This reveals much of the G Suite products that I wanted to talk about through here. Notice some of the applications that we mentioned at the start of the class. Some of them we haven't really took a look at. So let's go through some of these briefly. We have Google Maps. This is used for directions. We have another area to go ahead and go for Gmail. This is used to access your email again. We have Google Meet. This is a video meeting application. Then we have Google Drive. This is going to be our cloud storage application. Next, we have Google Calendar. This is an online calendar and a scheduling application. And lastly, we have Google Translate, used to translate almost any language. Very handy for a communication tool. Let's look at a couple other products here. We have something called Docs. What I did here to reveal more of the Google Suite is if you scroll down, you'll see there's a gray bar here. This allows you to scroll to see more of the applications that are available through your Google Sheet. So the first one here we're going to take a look at is Docs. This is a cloud-based word processing application, very similar to Word. We also have Sheets, a cloud-based spreadsheet application like Excel. Slides is a cloud-based presentation application like PowerPoint. When I'm saying cloud-based, that means that the application lives on the internet. It's saved automatically on the internet. So as you start to go ahead and enter your data, it automatically saves it in the cloud, which is part of your Google Drive. But the cloud is just a fancy word for an internet closet. So this is access to your internet closet, and some of the documents might store in there. Next, we have Books, which is a cloud-based library application. I love it because it's a library all the time. And Jamboard is something that's called a whiteboard and can be used with a 4K touch display. You can use it for meetings and more fancy presentations. As you can see, these are not all of them, but I just wanted to kind of briefly touch base on some of them. And let's discuss a couple other ones here. The account icon, which is this one here, this allows you to review and configure your Google account settings. Note, this is different than configuring settings for the Google browser. So what I'm saying, this is all specific to your Google account, not the actual browser here. Now, with the Google account, say I wanted to add a picture there. Well, this is me how I would go ahead and click on this area to go ahead and configure that. The account is split into 7 sections. Those 7 sections are home, personal info, data personalization, security, people and sharing, payments and subscriptions, and about. Let's continue here briefly. Now, what is where we're at is if I've clicked on that icon now, and now we're in the account settings. Here's an area we could search in account settings. So if I wanted to change my password or update my payment info, I could go ahead and search there. But again, I want to kind of briefly dive into some of these other things so we can see how it is when you're configuring your account. So in the home section, it's going to talk about your privacy, security issues that may be found. Feel free to go ahead and discover some of these. By default, you get a cloud storage of 15 gigabytes. But if you click the manage storage here, that way you can increase that capacity. That would be a paid feature there, but it's very common and very convenient for increasing your online storage. We also have privacy suggestions. Google is very good since it is your browser, kind of letting you know what you can do to improve your online security. So let's continue here briefly. In the personal info, we're gonna have some basic info about us. This is gonna be our name, our birth date, again, our gender, password, our contact here. But again, here's that area where I was saying you can add your photo. We click here and add a photo. That would be on your online library, an online location. You may have to download it locally to your computer. But this is where we could add that photo to our icon. So instead of it being an I of a visual representation of the first initial in my name that I'm signed in, you'd then see a photo of you or whatever you configured, whether it's a puppy or a kitten, whatever you have decided. So let's go ahead and continue. There are a couple other things in the Waffle that I want to continue exploring. The most common apps in the G Suite are definitely going to be the Google Search and Gmail. There are applications that have multiple links for user access. They're available in the Waffle. They're also available here at the top or searching here in your search bar. These three applications of the Waffle are extended search features. Each allows a user to complete more targeted or specific search. Maps, of course, is a search that allows you to get from point A to point B. News allows you to search current events or periodicals. And YouTube is a video service. It does allow you to search, but be careful what you search for because a lot of the material is not curated or proofed. So it could be something very misleading. These two applications are specific to connectivity and communications. That'd be Meet and Translate. Meet allows you to do video conference meetings. It's a great way to connect with loved ones, or is common practice in most institutions since the pandemic. And again, Translate allows you to talk to somebody in a different language that you may have never been able to have that conversation with prior to this product. And again, the Drive is an application that's your cloud-based storage. You get 15 gigabytes to save pictures, movies, music, documents, any data that you wish. When you create them in the G Suite, again, it saves automatically to the Drive. If there are things that are on your computer, you can upload it to the Drive by clicking on it and then uploading it to a folder or location. Again, when you use these data entry and word processing documents, you definitely will have them saved automatically to your Google Drive. As you also create them, I do want to point out briefly that you can download them into different file formats, which might be like an Office file format or to an open source file format like Libre. But these are some of my favorite products for data entry and creating documents. You can also share them with other users, so then collaborating on the same document with multiple people is not only very convenient, is not only saving instantly, but is really just a breeze. All right, so that is our brief introduction to the Google Suite. Again, my name is Jordan from Alante's Diverse IT, and I hope today I simplified another solution for you. I'll see you next time. Thanks.